motion to move the personnel matters? Rich? Second.
Before you do that, is there any way I can make a comment about number 6?
Sure.
Yes. Number 6, we have the resignation of Mrs. Preville. She's 30 years in the school district. She asked me to keep this quiet for as long as possible because she didn't want to make a big deal out of it, and I said, well, we're going to have to make a big deal out of it once we have to make it official. I wish Ms. Adams was here today, because when I told her today before the meeting, she talked about her daughter Jordan, and that Mrs. Preville was her favorite teacher. Talked about some of the character traits that her daughter remembers from first grade. Think about it, for 30 years, there's usually 3 classes. She's had 1/3 of the students that have come through Belmar, and whenever I'm talking to people and saying I'm working in Belmar now, and they say, I went to Belmar, and usually one of the teachers that they mention is Mrs. Preville. And in June, we're going to be recognizing both Mrs. Preville and Mrs. Hennessy, and I think it's fitting that they're leaving together. They have very similar personalities, and they affect children in similar ways. Very caring, but still challenging the students, and the parents really appreciated what they've done for their children. So I'm looking forward to the June meeting.
Yes, we will miss her, and all the best to her. Any other comments or questions on personnel? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Barrett? Yes. Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Herbert?
Yes.
Mr. Walsifer?
Yes.
Ms. Hilliard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, policy. Joanne, you can take policy.
This is the second reading of policies that we discussed last month, so if anyone has any questions, but otherwise we will.
Can I have a motion to move the policy items? Mr. Fury? Mr. Byrd? Any discussion on any of the policy items that we have voted on? Thank you. Mr. Bill, roll call, please.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Herbert?
Yes.
Mr. Walsifer?
Yes.
Ms. Hilliard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Operations.
Yes, we have 7 items. First is our monthly travel and professional development report. Number 2, on Friday, the 2nd of May, I've been talking to you about the community service project where we received a $10,000 grant to have our 8th graders work with the sending districts to establish relationships before they start in high school. As I discussed in my superintendent's reports when I interviewed our 8th graders, one of the main things that we came down with, or our analysis, was the students that were involved in something prior to school with students from other sending districts had more positive comments in terms of their transition. So what we're doing is we're working with all the counselors, and we have about 35 students from all the 7 sending districts that are going to be working the 14th, 15th, and 16th of July. We have counselors from Manasquan, and we also have Mrs. Callahan, our community service advisor, that will be working with the students. And on the 2nd, we're going to go to the high ropes and low ropes. I don't know if some of you that have been in the business sector where they've put you together as cooperative, to have you work together as a team. It's a good experience. If it rains, they'll go to the climbing wall and do that. None of the students are required to participate if they don't feel comfortable. We had a parent meeting the other evening that was successful, and we're looking forward to that. So that will happen next Friday. The reason that's a great day is the 8th graders have their NJS testing Monday through Thursday. The state does not want any testing on that Friday, even makeups, so it's perfect for all the sending districts. Looking forward to that. Number 3, 4, and 5 are in relationship to P.W. Moss Associates, having them the engineer of record for the projects in terms of the construction over the summer and the fall, in terms of them doing the bid specs and all the paperwork that's required. Number 6, we are came up quickly on us, 5 years, and working with our food service, we have to go out to bid again. And number 7 is the shared service agreement that we've discussed with Bradley Beach in terms of our supervisor of special services. And that is operations.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. May I have a motion on operations? Mr. Guerrero. And, any comments or any kind of discussion on operations?
Yeah, I have one. And will they also, PW must also be the overseeing it almost as a general contractor, or are they just doing the architectural program?
They do the overseeing, it's not on a daily basis, but they assist with helping to have the contractors
Yeah, so
choose
they kind
them
of
and
perform
they
the general
oversee
contracting.
them. It's not really construction management because they're not here every day, but they do oversee the project, and that's all included in the proposal.
Great, thank you.
I was just curious for the eighth grade community service trip, like, how do you just selected for that? Or just-
Students were selected based upon the counselors feeling either leadership skills that the students had, or that the counselors felt that it was important for them to be put in a role where it would benefit them to be in a leadership role. And then the one thing I didn't mention as well is the transitional students from Manasquan will be involved, and the peer advisors or peer leaders will be involved as well. The idea is, first few days of school, that there's a better chance as they walk into the lunchroom and they don't know a lot of the students, that those relationships will help for a positive transition. Especially, obviously we started this for our own students, but a district like Avon, where there might be 5 students going, the chances that they walk in, they see someone that they know are very small. So I think it's going to benefit all of the districts. And my goal in the future is for this program to be taken on. It won't be funded again through this foundation. So the idea is to prove this to Manasquan and to go to all the sending districts and ask for a small donation from all the sending districts and have it be Manasquan's program.
And how many from each sending district?
It's approximately anywhere from the smaller districts, 3 or 4, the larger districts, 7.
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Roll call, please.
Ms. Barron?
Yes.
Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Mr. Walsper?
Yes.
Ms. Hilton?
Yes.
Thank you.
Finances.
The bill list, we're asking for approval of the April bills. The total is $1,039,564.01. The majority were emailed to you, the remaining are in your packet. Board Secretary's report for the month of March 2014 also was emailed, and the transfers for March 2014 are in your packet, and also the certification for the Board Secretaries and Treasurer's reports.
Mrs. Hill. I have a motion to for finance. Joanne? Mr. Fury? Any discussion on finance? Mrs. Hill, roll call, please.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ms. Gray?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Mr. Walsper?
Yes.
Ms. Hilliard?
Yes, except those email check number 56726.
Thank you.
Manasquan report, Mr. Fury.
Manasquan hasn't met since we last met. The only thing coming up for the full board is the public budget meeting, which will be May 7th.
Thank you. Correspondence are all in the packets. Old business? Or any new business? All right, comments from the public?
You can go first, then. All right, go, please.
Just state your name again for the record.
Yeah.
I got it
Ted-
from before.
It's, and it's spelled EHMANN. Appreciate it. Yeah, I spoke in September, I think it was the first meeting, and expressed my concerns and my dislike for Common Core based on my experience in New Jersey as a public school teacher and someone who has been honored for that in many ways by many organizations. And having the fortunate experience of being able to work in like the poorest school, like an Abbott school in Trenton, and one of the brightest schools, the academies in Bergen County. And fortunately, since then, at that time, I remember I spoke because there was Mr. Small. I began my comments with Mr. Small of the Baltimore School District, who was kept from even asking questions of the school board. And that was the climate back in September. Since then, there's been a lot more discussions, and I'm really pleased that teachers, I've noticed that watching various newscasts, that there's teachers, more and more teachers are coming out. A lot of math teachers talking about their problems with the math curriculum and wondering if it's age appropriate and a lot of other things. One of the things that I didn't address, and I just wanted to have in my comments, one, I would love if the, for the record, would state that, you know, a resident is opposed to Common Core. But one of the things, there are a lot of people who are opposed to Common Core, but they're not saying what they're going to replace it with. And it was implied in my last comments on this in September, is that the state of New Jersey, and I went into, I think I mentioned that I went into education later in life. So I'm going to Trenton State, getting my master's degree in teaching, and I'm in my 40s. And at that time, there was the reform effort and a whole new curriculum. It was 6 intensive years. I was a part of it. There were meetings held in every county, every part of the state, involving educational professionals, administrators, parents, teachers. Exhaustive, 6 years to come up with the new standards and the curriculum. And it didn't get implemented until the end of the 20th century. So it wasn't even very old. But the thing was that it wasn't top down. It wasn't a group of people who had very little idea of what it takes to have an appropriate, age appropriate, and high level, you know, goals locally and statewide. We did. We did it statewide, we did it democratically, we had all these people pulled together, and there was nothing wrong with it. In fact, they're exceptional standards. I still go by them. So I just wanted to put on the record that I support not just scrapping Common Core, but I support what we already did in a fair and reasonable and really high-level way. Those original standards that everybody came up with, the testing, everything. I was an art teacher besides social studies, and when they pulled the rug out from the art, we had new textbooks. We taught all the arts, and the students were to be tested on it, and it was that truly was world class. World class. It was great because new teachers were being hired, there were exciting programs, and it was multidisciplinary. And I regret that those days aren't here anymore, and basically I just wanted to make a comment that I didn't want to be one of these naysayers and just say, you know, tear it down. We had a really good product, you know. We had a Rolls Royce, and now we have, well, a Yugo. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes? Please state your name for the record.
Sure. David Schnapp, 302 C Street. First, I want to echo Mr. Neiman's displeasure with Common Core. I don't really like it either, and I think the curriculum should be developed at a more local level. This is why we have experts working in our towns and in the states. So it doesn't need to be top down from a federal government, or they claim it's not the federal government, but I think it's heavily influenced by the federal government. But what I really wanted to point out tonight, and this is something I talk about a lot at city council meetings. I talked to Governor Christie about it a couple of weeks ago when he was here, and that's the amount of state aid that we get, school state aid, and I see this year we're getting what was it, 1.184 million, and I just want you to all be aware that that money is coming from our state income tax. And the residents of Belmar paying on average every year $5 million in state income tax. And out of that, we're getting back $1.18 million. And this is unconstitutional. The clause in the Constitution that enacted the state income tax says that the money is to be distributed for the equal benefit of every student in the state. I'm directly quoting the state constitution, the equal benefit of every student. And, you know, they've just ignored that. The state Supreme Court is acting, you know, extra constitutionally, and I keep bugging Governor Christie to do something about it. He wants to wait until there's a new Supreme Court, which there won't be while he's still in office. But if we follow the state constitution and divided up all the income tax money collected in the state and set the equal amount for every student in every district, Belmar would get an additional $3.1 million in state aid. We'd get a total of almost $4.3 million in state aid. That would be constitutional. That would be following the Constitution. That would be following the law. So this is something, you know, that you should be aware of. But I just want to make everyone aware that your job would be a lot easier if we could just get the government to follow the state constitution as far as distribution of state income tax for education aid. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you.
I wish I would get it.
Yeah, complain, please, complain to everybody about it, because this is one of the big factors that's driving people out of New Jersey. You know, this was supposed to be, when it was enacted in 1976, I believe, in 1977, this was supposed to be property tax relief. You know, that was the whole purpose of it, was for the state to pick up a bigger part of the burden of funding the schools, so that the property taxpayers wouldn't have to pay it. You know, the idea was that high income earners, you know, that pay a lot of income tax would, I don't know if I agree with that, but that was the idea of it, that it was supposed to be relief for property taxpayers. And what they did was, they just took all the money. They're giving it all to the Abbott districts, like 12 or 13 districts are getting like 85% of the state income tax money, you know, and you know, property taxes, high income tax, high sales tax, this is what's driving the middle class out of the suburbs and out of New Jersey. You know, people aren't leaving Patterson to move to other states. People are leaving towns like Belmar and such. You know, so this is a big problem for our state. And anyone you know that you can complain to about it, please do. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes.
Bill Strass, Oakwood Road. I noticed that the posting of the minutes in the meetings, especially the meeting in September where Mr. Eman and Mr. Dilberger both spoke, had a public comments section. There were no public comments. Would there be a reason for that?
What was the month?
September.
No, they were there, Bill.
The
They were in the second public comments.
Oh, you found them?
Yeah.
Okay, you found them.
Any other comments from the public? All right, hearing none, we'll close the comments from the public section, and we're gonna have to go into executive session again to discuss personnel, HIB. HIV, no more person. Just the HIV report. And, yeah, there'll be no other action, we'll come back here.
No other public action, right?
Thanks, David.
No problem.